All right. So as some of you are mentioning, the technology industry is moving incredibly fast. Some people that are here are people that have been laid off. Essentially, most people that have been working in technology, and frankly, have been laid off. I used to work for a tech consulting company in 2023. And there, just to be out of transparency, just like every corporation, every company, they would say, you know, that we're all a family and we're all, everybody buy in. And then, as soon as there would be a gap in the profitability, the maximum profitability, then, it's dropped. So as soon as that happened, I felt like I was on a mission to bring awareness of what was going to happen. And I'll place everybody on just a brief hold. I gotta bring my cat back inside. I'll be right back. All right. So there's always talk about how we're all family, we're all this and that, but as soon as there's a lapse in the maximum profitability and there's an opportunity for increasing the valuation of the organization for shareholders, then it's, I'm sorry, but you have to get laid off now. So with that being said, around 2023, as soon as AI came about, we started on this mission of bringing awareness about what was going to be happening. So as some of you will remember, when AI came out around 2023, I was actually on ChatGPT the first week that it came out. And I actually remember as soon as I found out that it could write code, I would never forget the moment. I called my brother shortly, and I was in a little bit of I'm sure you could hear a little bit of the fear in my voice, but I was like, man, this thing knows how to code. And that really let me know that something big was going to be happening in our employment market. Now, very early on, there was this trope, right? At first, the corporations said that there would be no impact to the workforce, right? At first, they were saying there would be no impact. Then afterwards, they started saying, well, AI is not going to take your job. Somebody that is using AI is going to take your job, which is ultimately silly, because it's still AI that's being the difference. But here we are. This is 3 years after. This is 3 years later. AI became pretty much mainstream in 2023. Now we're in 2026, and corporations are laying off employees by the thousands. So throughout the whole time, I have been doing education for AI. I have been going to different high schools, community colleges, universities, everywhere to try to let people know what's going to be happening and what is going on. And this is part of my means of doing so. So when AI came about, I had a understanding that has not shaken at all. My understanding is that AI does not create jobs. It decentralizes the capacity for people to create successful businesses. So fundamentally, AI is really a business tool. It is not it's not going to be able to create marginal value for corporations. In fact, corporations, because of how much money they have, they would be better off with using people, because their bottleneck is not money. In most cases, the bottleneck is just understanding the truth of what is happening in the organization. So with that being said, for people, it's important for people to understand how to use AI in order to create successful businesses. So in this workshop, one of the means of doing so is that we help people with ideation. I know some of you, Tiffany and Shireen, y'all live, in Austin as well. Who knows? Y'all might want to, connect together and see if you come up with something, some vision for a product together. So we also, of course, welcome people collaborating. But yes, we're going to go ahead and dive into the workshop. Thank y'all for being here. And y'all already introduced yourselves in the chat. Allow me to introduce myself a little bit. I have an untraditional background as far as education goes. I studied art and psychology. So a lot of the people that are in the technology industry, of course, they studied, computer science in school. That's not me. I studied art and psychology, and then I went to a coding boot camp. And as soon as I went to the coding boot camp, I fell in love with programming because of the creative nature as well as the exactitude. So those are two things I feel like are my strong suits. So I've been a software engineer for more than 10 years. I started back in 2014. So now here we are in 2026. I've won 3 hackathons. I've built every kind of app that there is out there. I've had the pleasure of training more than 400 people that have secured full-time jobs. So as far as the total number of people I've trained, that is in the thousands. But as far as I'm talking about people that got full-time jobs in software engineering through my training, that is at 400 people. And then I also had the opportunity of volunteering for Microsoft Teals. This is just a program where people that are experienced software engineers get the opportunity to teach high school classes, high school programming classes. Actually, right now, in most, if not many of the teachers in high schools for programming classes, the teachers don't know how to code because the issue is that academia only tries to hire within academia. They don't really look for people that are actually like practitioners. They kind of look at it like I know the word cult won't go well with people. Some people might not like the word, but essentially they treat it like it's some sort of club. And if you're not in academia, if you didn't, if you haven't been working for schools, they just don't want people that are experienced. They don't have any feedback loop. So that's something that's going on in the education industry. But aside from that, I also I participated in Toastmasters for a couple of years in order to become a better public speaker. And then I also have a twin brother who's also a technical instructor. So that's a little bit about myself. And as it says in the background, in the bottom, my diverse background and extensive experience uniquely position me to lead and guide Tech Founder Pro, empowering individuals to succeed in the technology industry. So a little bit about my teaching method. The reason why I am slowing down to communicate this to y'all is just so that as you experience this workshop, that you will understand what it is that I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and what you may want to do while I am, doing certain things. So one of the ways that people learn is auditory. So, and the way that people, pretty much emphasize things, the way that people teach people things from auditory that you want to stand out is through emphasis. All right. And there's 3 core ways to emphasize. One is going to be through repetition. So if you hear me repeat something, like let's say, as we were talking about earlier with custom GPTs, if you hear me repeat a certain word like custom GPTs or artifacts, or that means you probably want to write it down. And then from there, check into it, learn a little bit about what it is, how it's used. And then the other way is loudly. So if I say something loudly, then that is another form of emphasis, right? And then another way is if I say something slowly, that's another form of emphasis. So if I say something slowly, then that means it's something that you probably want to write down as well. All right. So these are different ways of emphasizing. And then from there, we have visual. So visually, showing people, sometimes my slides contain code. So, that's able to help people with, just taking a quick snapshot, or sometimes we'll create just strategies for being able to memorize things. So that's what that is about. And then we have what I call forward engineering and reverse engineering. So forward engineering is pretty much like, let's say if you've ever shopped at an IKEA, right? And you may not have previously, built a sofa before, but just by following the instructions, you are able to get the same results. And that is important because this is an important way that people learn technical skills. It's through following tutorials, through following a guide, and your main focus is just making sure that you follow exactly what the guide is doing. All right. And then the final one is reverse engineering. Reverse engineering is pretty much getting getting a handle, getting an understanding of the entire system that you're within. So let's say, for example, especially as a software engineer, when you get access to a repository, which is the code base, then from there you will be able to, you will be able to just change certain little things. Let's say if you change the text somewhere and you want to go, all right, well, is that going to change it over here? So this is just the process of reverse engineering. And this is very important because this is actually what we do as professionals in the technology space. In the technology space, we pretty much do a little bit, mostly like it's reverse engineering, where reverse engineering and forward engineering, where you get access to a certain code base, and then from there it becomes your responsibility to understand how the whole code base works, and then how to make the changes that you're being hired to make to the project. All right, so that's why that's so important. Somebody asked about whether I share the slides. I do not share the slides, but I just recently started sharing the recordings. All right, so we're going to go ahead and dive into this. And there's this question, learning AI. So I want to get some volunteers. What does learning AI mean to you? So let's see here. Can I get a volunteer of what is learning AI mean to you?
I can go.
Yes, please do.
Okay. Learning AI to me is not accepting the fact that it's just going to take over everything, but I'm utilizing a way to help it interact with my daily life or with my business, sort of say.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you're describing, it's like you want to ride the wave of the value of AI by finding out how it could work within the systems within your workflow as a business owner.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a good way to look at it. And the reason why I asked this is because we hear all of these people that are CEOs, or all of these people just say, hey, you just need to learn AI. What's the best thing kids should just learn AI? And in a lot of cases, the people that are saying this, it's because they don't know what's going on. They're just repeating phrases. Shireen, let's get your opinion. What is learning AI to you?
I think it's just trying to build something or do something with AI and then figure out whether it worked or not. I feel like learning AI is like different than other things where you might want to like take a class or like read a book. Like I think you should more just like learn by doing.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, that's exactly that's a good insight, where like a lot of people are, once again, they're saying you should just learn AI, and they're treating it like it's learn math, but it's significantly different. It's fundamentally different. And that is part of the reason why the impact that it's having on society is fundamentally different as well. Because the people that are a lot of the people that are benefiting the most from a wealth perspective, they don't understand the nature of the tool as well. They try to figure out how the money will increase, but they don't really understand the nature of the impact as well. So how about you, Joseph? Do you have an understanding, or Tiffany, anybody else have? Yeah.
Yeah, I think learning AI is like understanding AI, like the inner workings of like artificial intelligence. So,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is one realm of learning AI as well. So things like machine learning. So when you're talking about learning AI, there's a lens of it that means understanding how the actual models are being created. What are AI models? What is the ways that what is an API? So this is another lens of learning AI. So thank you all for your participation. Those were great answers. So the 3 dimensions of learning AI is first of all, building the AI models. So yes, this is what I was talking about when we talk about the machine learning that it takes, the data compilation, a lot of what goes on with the AI models. And AI models, this is like, let's say if we talk about like Opus 4.6 or Chat GPT 5.5 or any of these those are the models of AI. So that is it involves a lot of data science. It involves a lot of that's the mathematical side of programming. It involves a lot of exactitude. There's a deep learning as well. So these are different lenses of learning AI, but this is the more technical side. And then there is the middle, which is integrating the AI into products. So this is the layer of that we see a lot of money flooding into. When you are on LinkedIn and you see, somebody raised, 150 million for building this product, or, this is the layer of arbitrage. So this is where we use the models that are created in order to build a product that would be of value to the world. All right. So there's a lot of money that is obviously flowing into this arena right now, to be able to overcome the different SaaS companies that were existing before. So, and then there is the using the AI tools effectively. So, this involves, once again, whether it be some of the stuff I mentioned, like using custom GPTs, or using AI artifacts, or using context projects, or using the co-work feature or using Atlas, because this is another layer of agentic workflows, which is allowing the AI to take control over your mouse and be able to do some of the work for you. So this is another realm of learning AI, all right, to do some of the work for you. So why learn AI? You guys, of course, there's plenty of reasons why. Essentially, here's one of the ways to look at it is the impact that AI has been having. So it's said that by 2030, perhaps 70% of the current jobs that exist won't be existing anymore. And there's a lot of different factors to it. AI is one of the largest factors, but there are a lot of huge other factors as well, which is, it has to do with, frankly, the understanding of what a corporation is, as well as the impacts that it has on just on economics. And there's a number of different factors, but the part of the reason why to learn AI is because of how fast the job market is changing, and it's more safer for people to begin to build their own sources of income, and also valuable products. I've also built some products as well that I have a vision of making this be able to help other people as well with earning income outside of the traditional job. So there's this popular saying that I mentioned, which is AI isn't taking your job, someone using AI is. And this was something that it was just being repeated by everybody a couple of years ago, but now it's undeniable that they cannot say that. Right now, when a lot of these corporations are laying people off, they literally say it's because of AI. So it's a completely different time now. So yeah, so there's a lot of reason whys. So the next thing I want to go into is, what is a business plan? When you hear about the word business plan, what does that mean to you? So let me hear from Tiffany, if it's possible. I want to hear what a business plan means to you. If it's possible. Okay, yeah.
Yep. So it's having a plan for a business, a product or service, the way in which you are hoping to generate income from that, how what the requirements are to develop that plan, how, or why you see it as being successful, how it's different than other things that may be out there, or like the demographic it might serve. Yeah, kind of all that information that goes into strategizing and planning a business.
Yeah, sure thing. As you mentioned, has requirements, it has the target audience and stuff like that. So you described some of the components of it, but it's very interesting because I found that based off of people's definitions, it kind of describes a little bit of the relationship that they would have for a business plan, and this is very common. So how about for yourself? Anyone else? Shireen, what's your definition of a business plan?
I think it's pretty similar to what Tiffany said. I think it's like just a summary of like how will you like finance a business? What is the product or service you're going to offer? Like how will you? What's like the pricing or packaging? And kind of what is your vision for this business and how it's going to make money?
All right, cool. So some of the keywords that you used were the word summary. It summarizes some of the information. You also use the word like kind of like sharing your vision. I think vision is one of the keywords that you use as well. Okay, cool. And let's get one more. Joseph or Ashley, what do you think? Ashley, what's your definition of a business plan?
My definition of a business plan. Y'all can hear me, right? Because you're connected to Bluetooth.
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Yes.
My definition of a business plan is simply like creating a system that fills a gap or serves some sort of purpose. So like for real estate, for instance, because I love real estate. A lot of people get into real estate not only because it's like the wealth wonder of the world, but because at the end of the day, everyone needs a place to stay, whether that's vacation or whatever the case may be. Or when it comes to filling a gap, like for instance, AI, like you have a lot of educators or people who do code who are coming out trying to teach people because they see that there is a gap, a significant gap that needs to be taught. And I think that's what a business plan is.
Okay, interesting. So the business plan is pretty much something that it highlights or outlines the gaps within a market. Is that kind of what you're describing?
Yeah, or just fulfilling some sort of purpose. Because we
Okay.
all get into business to serve or, you know, have some sort of purpose, or you have a mission.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. So the business plan, highlights your mission. Yeah, that's a, good way to look at it as well. So yeah, thank y'all all for for your input. And but there's one key word that is rarely used that describes what a business plan is, and it's actually a very key and valuable word to connect to it. And that word is the word formula. And the reason why we use this word is because a business plan is supposed to be looked at as a scientific formula that will lead to the success of your business. It's a strategy for success. It's where, of course, the product, the customer, the system of product to customer transaction, it gets dialed in, right? And so what I mean, the reason why formula is such a valuable word to use is because it's like the it it it's truly what a business, the nature of business is. It's more scientific. You're supposed to find out what is it that it takes to get your product, what is it that it takes in order to get the viewers to your product, and then from there you're creating a system. So this is the reason why the word formula is so valuable. Even if you think about it, like when you think about 2 + 2 = 4, it's like, all right, that is going to get you 4. And essentially, when a business becomes successful, it means that you have dialed in and you have figured out what it takes in order for your entire vision to happen. That's essentially the way that a business works. So that's the reason why the word formula is so important. So pretty much there's different parts of a business, and you're always formulaically trying to figure out, how do I get, the whole vision, the whole system to work? And a business plan is the reason why it's part of it. But the thing about it is that most people that go into creating a business, they don't have a business plan, and they don't look at it from a formulaic perspective. So they're looking at it like, all right, I got to create my LLC. I got to create my logo. I got to create my social media. I got to start doing this. And none of that has to do with the entire system. It's just what everybody does. So it's important to zoom in into what is actually going to drive the entire system. What part of the system is not working in order to be able to get to the results that is truly desired. All right, so we're about to get here into using the AI tools to be able to create, and I'll show us how we do this. One of the quotes that I love is by a gentleman called Naval. Have anybody here heard of Naval before? Okay, Naval has this quote. He's like a philosopher mixed with a investor. And his quote is that there are 7 billion people in the world, so hopefully there will be 7 billion businesses. So this truly aligns with my vision and my hypothesis of what AI impact will be, which is that I fundamentally believe that on a very long time horizon, that I don't believe that corporations I don't believe that we will go back into a paradigm where the bulk of jobs are coming from corporations and companies. Their nature is to continuously reduce the amount of people possible, as long as they continue to maximize the amount of money that is made. So their goal is fundamentally going to be geared towards their valuation, and this is by design. Therefore, it can't be changed. So, but I do believe that what will be able to happen is that people will be able to earn income outside of jobs, and that's through creating successful businesses. But also, like I've mentioned before, I've also created other tools that make it easier for people to create and run their own businesses as well. So, but what we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and get into using ChatGPT for this lesson. So I'm going to, so what we used to do is we would use like the AI. So as I talked about, we would copy the entire prompt into the AI, and then from there um, we would get the response. But from there, I remember we had somebody that was that joined the workshop, and they said, "What if you create a custom GPT that does this for you?" And it was a brilliant idea, so we created one. So what I'm about to do is I'm going to share the link to the custom GPT so that all of you will be able to go along and use it as well to create a valuable idea for yourself. All right. So wait one moment here. And if anybody has any questions, go ahead and leave them in the chat. All right. And yes, the custom GPT that I just posted is free to use. And it's everything that you create is all yours. So the vision for the product that you create is all yours, all of that stuff. So yeah, go ahead and click on that and I will show you what you will see. And here we are. So are we able to see the custom GPT? We're able to see our AI? Yep. If you can type in the letter Y in the chat. Okay, great. All right. So yeah, we showed, so this right here is a custom GPT, and the purpose of it is it guides users step by step to develop high leverage tech startup ideas. All right. So I want to get a volunteer for this. Who wants to be the volunteer? And you will pretty much, you'll be the driver. We'll be showing, you'll be the person that answers all the questions, and you'll leave with a tech startup vision that can be the next biggest thing and can earn you $10,000 a month if you do the work. But who wants to be the volunteer?
This gives me so much anxiety, but I'll go for it.
All right, excellent. That's the way to go about it. All right. So, first question here is, and I'm going to show way that we were doing it before, and then the way that we're doing it now. One moment here. So as we could see, the first question is for idea and name generation. So identify innovative app ideas that cater to unmet needs in whatever user interest area. Then suggest creative and memorable names that encapsulate the app's essence. So, pretty much this is a first step, right? Is to use the AI to help you with, finding, as you were saying, Ashlee, the gaps in any operation. And then from there, getting it to, come up with a name for it. So I'm going to go back into, and there was somebody that had a question. Is creating and using a custom GPT the best way to keep our business ideas private and secure? I think it's more of a strategy for creating, and I would say custom GPTs are more for just creating output. I can't really talk to the level of security or privacy that Chat GPT uses, because I don't know everything about their operation. It's just like with Meta, right? Meta, claims with some of their products that there's, security and privacy, but ultimately, we're not 100% sure, So I wouldn't be able to make that claim, but I will say that the value of custom GPTs is to expedite your workflow with AI. So it just means that you will have to repeat yourself less. You don't have to repeat yourself as much when you use a custom GPT. So like I said, instead of having to type this in here, this whole thing where it says, this whole idea name generation, I don't have to type that. Now, instead, when we go back into Chat GPT, here's the way we do it. So, and all of you would be able to do this. Once again, the link that I shared in the chat for that has this, you could go ahead and copy this and you'll be able to use it anytime. But yeah, the way that we start is we just say hi, right? And here it is. It's saying, hi, I'm excited to help you brainstorm a high leverage tech startup or app idea. Start simple. What are you passionate about? This could be a hobby, a problem you constantly face, an industry you know well, something you spend hours learning about, a community you care about, a workflow you wish existed. So Ashlee, tell me about, if you have anything, amongst a hobby or problems you constantly face or industry or, something you spend hours learning about, community you care about. I know you mentioned some stuff about real estate. So let me know what you would like to explore right now from a business perspective.
Okay. Give me a minute to think. I don't want to rush it.
No problem.
Okay. Can I use an example that I see?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. AI tools for real estate.
All right. So it says over here, AI tools for real estate. So these are examples. So, but the way that the best way to approach this is to start as high level as possible. So, I guess one way is that you're interested in real estate, right?
Correct.
And is it particularly for Airbnb or like, is there any communities, anything, any?
Airbnb.
Okay. And it also doesn't have to be like, the interesting part about AI and creativity is that it can be something completely linear. It doesn't have to be like, so let's say, for example, if somebody likes, let's just say somebody likes skateboarding and they like real estate, is like there might be some sort of thread that they're not able to connect the dots of that could be potentially of value. So I say that to say, it's what's fun and what's best is to like just not limit your mind so that you're able to get like the best possibilities. But I just say that just as a suggestion. We can go whether it be into Airbnb or real estate. Anything else that you want to add?
No.
Perfect. All right. So we have real estate plus Airbnb is an excellent space for building leverage because it combines recurring revenue, automation opportunities, high ticket transactions, underserved operators, AI data. Yep. All right, cool. All right. So it's already producing some ideas. So most hosts struggle with guest messaging, pricing, reviews, and operations. So AI co-host for Airbnb host, product idea, and AI assistant that replies to guests automatically, optimizes price lane, generates listing descriptions, predicts bad guests, and automates checks in. So potential names. So why this has leverage. All right. So that's one of them. Airbnb deal finders for investors. Investors waste hours analyzing whether short-term rentals are profitable. A platform that scans markets, estimates revenue, okay, calculates the ROI, cash flow keys, revenue model, subscriptions, premium reports, affiliate referral commissions, real estate CRM for small investors. All right.
Okay, I'm starting to understand. Okay,
Yeah, absolutely.
growing. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So coordinating cleaners between bookings is chaotic. So a logistic app that auto schedules cleaners. Oh, that's kind of cool. Tracks turnovers, sends photo verification, integrates with Airbnb calendars. Potential names: Turnover OS, CleanStay, Ready BNB, Flip Host Ops. AI interior designer for Airbnb hosts. Hosts don't know how to furnish properties. Yeah, that. All right. So so do any of these catch your eyes? And also I will say in some cases, you know, when you're using AI, what the first response is kind of maybe on the surface, you're able to direct it and go, you know, go this way or go that way. And but that's only when needed. But do any of these catch your attention?
I think there was an idea where it said something about like, where did it go? It was something about experiences where it can automatically like schedule. Oh.
Yeah, the first one was the one that was about struggling with guest messaging, pricing, reviews, and operations. All right.
Yeah.
Replies to guests automatically, optimizes. Yep. All right, cool. So the names here are potential names here are Host Pilot, Stayflow, Airmate, Guest Genius, Smart Host AI. Do you have a favorite out of any of these, or?
I guess I like Airmate.
Okay,
or
cool.
AI Mate, whatever that says.
Pardon me?
Does that say Airmate or AI Mate?
Airmate, yes.
Airmate. Okay, yeah, I like that one.
All right, cool. So then from there, we just type in Airmate, and it immediately communicates to Airbnb. Fits perfectly for an AI-powered hosting assistant. So your AI-powered Airbnb co-host, a platform that helps Airbnb hosts automate operations, increase revenues. All right. So as it says, hosts are overwhelmed by constant guest messaging, repetitive questions, pricing decisions, check-in coordination, review management, operational chaos. Many hosts want passive income, but hosting becomes a full-time job. So here are several positioning angles. It could be for a small host focus. So the AI co-host built specifically for Airbnb hosts with 1 to 10 properties. Or automation, option B, automation focus. So automate 90% of Airbnb guest communication. And then revenue focus, increase bookings and reduce host workload with AI. Or hospitality focus, deliver 5-star guest experiences automatically. It says recommended USP. I'd recommend this early on. Airmate helps independent Airbnb hosts automate guest communication, operations, and booking management with using AI. So do any of these as, I got to explain what a USP is, because the USP is very important. USP stands for unique selling point. So as we go back into our slides really quickly, after we come up with a vision for the product, we go into the USP. So USP, so what we would have done before is type in, considering the initial app idea, what could be the unique selling point that sets this app apart? So, USP early helps clarify what makes your app unique, guiding design and functionality, choosing to emphasize these strengths. So it really goes into, why should this exist? What makes this of value? All right. So now with that being said, one moment here. That's the wrong one. So, yeah. So do any of these, are any of these, do you feel drawn to any of these USP options?
Definitely option B.
Okay. All right. So as it says, this is strong because it's instantly understandable, measurable outcome, obvious ROI, and painful problem. So you now have a focused startup direction. So as it says now, AirMate core promise hosts should spend less time answering repetitive messages and more time growing their business. So Airbnb hosts constantly answer check-in instructions, Wi-Fi passwords, parking questions, early check-in requests, checkout instructions, appliance questions, refund concerns. This becomes exhausting at scale. So AirMate MVP, so this is what it would be. Automate guest communications intelligently and safely. The AI auto reply system automatically answers frequently asked questions, property questions, booking instructions, check-in details. Can I check in early? And then the AirMate would say, early check-in may be available after 1 p.m. depending on clean status. I'll confirm for you shortly. So as it says, unified dashboard for all guest conversations, AI generated reply suggestions, manual override, AI knowledge base. So once again, as I talked about, that keyword context, that you would, provide all the context of the house rules, the Wi-Fi info, the parking instructions, the check-in. And then from there, the AI would be able to use all the context and be able to provide the answer to the guest just based off the questions that it asks. Automation rules, send check-in messages, and all of that stuff, send checkout reminder, send review request. So you'd be able to, have it set to where it automatically does some of this stuff. And then from there, human approval mode. So approve AI replies before sending. So before it sends, you'd be able to get a message for that. So AirMate automates Airbnb guest communication so hosts can save hours every week while delivering 5-star hospitality. So this is just, the strong USP. And then from there, you have your metrics. Metrics would be like hours saved, response time reduction, percentage of messages automated, host satisfaction. So with every business, you also want to have metrics that you'd be able to show to, an investor and such like that. So this is right now, what it's doing right now is just giving you a market breakdown, key constraints and risks. You may initially rely on email forwarding, browser extension, unofficial integrations before official Airbnb API partnerships, AI hallucinations, which actually a partnership with Airbnb would be really cool for that. So, but anyways, AI hallucinations, bad replies can, damage their trust. And, of course, and then, competition, competitors exist, but mostly are bloated, enterprise focused, difficult to use. So, being focused on, working with the smaller people that host 1 to 10 properties, that would be better than working on people that host, maybe hundreds or whatever. So now it's going into some of the technology stuff, the recommended tech architecture. This looks like it's proposing a nation, some webhooks, so Stripe payments, Superbase. Yeah. So this is some stuff that you won't have to go into, and it's doing a lot right now. As you can see, this is a sequence of stuff that we would have had to request it to do one by one, but it's just doing all of them. So at first it was talking about, some of it was talking about the MVP, and then from there it was going into, it was just clarifying the USP, then it was going into metrics, then it's going into, some of the risks, and then now it's going into the architecture. So this is a sequence of stuff that you would need to have, as you're going through the manifestation process of the product. So now after you've clarified, everything about the vision and the product, then it would go into like the technicality. How do you bring it about? It mentioned first about the tech stack. Now it's going on into the actual screens list. So this used to take a long time. The screens list, it would have to be a whole lot of people, on a diagram. Now it just does it automatically. So right here it's saying that you would need like, a dashboard, an inbox, property knowledge base, automation rules, analytics, billing, and then it's even going into the business plan. So, but what I'll do right here, we'll go back in between the slides. Ashlee, do you have any questions so far about what it's doing?
No, but I did want to ask this earlier because I've seen that it helped generate names for the business. Now, I know a lot of business, it's important to like copyright some things, trademark some things. So since it's generated by AI, you can't copyright that since AI generated it, right?
You can.
Okay.
Yeah, you can. You can copyright things that are generated by AI. AI doesn't own it.
Okay.
Actually, on a technical level, this might be a little too technical. AI doesn't even know what it said.
Oh.
It just it's just data. It's like, here, this is what something has, based off of the answer, this is what something that it doesn't know what it said. So yeah, but anyways, that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, you don't got to worry about anything with like the names and stuff like that. So yeah, just wanted to highlight that. So I'm going to go back into the business slide real quick, just so we can take a look at what it's doing, all of the processes. So the next question would be, who are like the questions that you would ask are, who are my customers? Well, we've already defined that by our USP, which is by, defining that we wanted to go with, people that own 1 to 10, properties, we did it based off of like the goal, which is for it to handle 90% of your messaging for you, so that once again will inform the audience, the people that you market to. So when let's say if you're doing advertisements, you would go, how many people are tired of, having to message, all of the people that are the guests when all of the answers are, are repetitive. So based off your answer that you gave of, what you want it to be for, that's what informs the, that's what informs the whole, the customers, that informs the marketing for it as well. And then from there afterwards, it went into the functionality and screens list. We talked about the tech stack already, and it was telling you that you might want to start off with like a web version, and the different things that you want to have attached to it. So that's a great route to go about, since it'll be usable by anybody, and it's not like you'd have to build 2 different apps, because that's the case if you're going with the mobile app experience, then you'll need to have it, of course, for iPhone and for Android as well. So starting off with the web application is always the best route. And then And yeah, so that was from there. It went into the functionality and screens list, and then from there, I assume that one of the next things it's going to talk about is validation, and then from there it'll be the business plan. So we're going to go back into not the business plan, the financial strategy, the goals and strategy. So we're going to go back over into the response here. So as we were talking about, we have we're getting into the business of it. We already went through the screens list, and now we're going into potential pricing. So for somebody that owns one property, you'd be perhaps it could start at $19 a month, and then for up to 5 properties, $50 a month, and that. So this is just for $99 a month for advanced automations, simple pricing converts best initially. So so now we're talking about the validation strategy. So the way that you would validate the decision to take this on as a journey. And first one, as it says, is you'd interview the people that are Airbnb hosts, and then from there you'd be able to compile an understanding of what's going on, and then from there it would be week 2, like build landing page and wait list, and then the demo screenshots, and from there you'd be able to, and nowadays it is possible to build product pretty fast, but then from there you'd be able to prototype the inbox with AI replies, and then from there you'd start getting the initial users. So but this of course is it's a very ambitious timeline, but it's just kind of outlining some of the things that you want to do. Once again, the thing that's interesting about a business plan is that the one of the reasons why most people's business never succeed is because they're not sticking to a plan. It's not scientific. And this is something that I had to realize for myself. Like when I started off on the journey, like, years ago, of like trying to understand, how to create a business, what it is, everybody feels like they understand, but you have to be in it for some time in order to go through all of the pain, in order to have a clarity about it. Well, at least you did have to before. Like the thing about it is that through some of the tools that we're creating, some of the tools that I created, then just as an operational, it will make creating a business, or having ways of income, it makes it a lot easier than what it is right now. So so this is right here, just talking about the validation, the strategy, and then the biggest opportunity. So the real opportunity isn't AI replies, it's becoming the operating system for independent Airbnb hosts. So start with messaging, expand later into pricing, cleaners, analytics, maintenance, reviews, dynamic upsells. That's how large SaaS companies get built. So this is kind of talking about like a further vision as well. Do you have anything that you want to add to it? We're not done with this yet, but anything that you want to change, or how are you feeling about the product so far, Ashlee?
There's nothing I want to change. I'm just taking it all in. It's a lot of things to look at, but like I love it.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, very detailed. It helps me like have a broader like outlook on certain things that I wasn't even thinking about, that I should have thought about prior to doing certain things. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, certainly. That's great. So as it's saying here, recommended immediate next steps. Your smart move now is, creating a brand identity, landing page, copy, feature roadmap, wireframes, MVP, development plan. So these are also things that it's saying that it can do for you. One of the things that I like to do is zoom into like from a finances perspective, like what will be the steps towards like how much my goal is and what would be the steps towards attaining that. So let's zoom into how to get 10K a month as our goal. So as it's saying, a lot of founders focus too much on features, branding, tech, and even in my opinion, this response that it had was the smartest next move is, brand identity. Yeah, this stuff is fun too. So I like of course, having a brand identity and landing page copy, like that stuff is valuable. But one of the core things that you also want to figure out is just like, how are you going to be able to, provide it to the people? So, so your realistic average revenue per customer early on is probably about $49 a month. So you need 205 paying customers. That's it. So, so out of all of the people that do Airbnb and such like that, which is quite a lot, then, your goal is really just going to be finding 205, paying customers. And, of course, as like they have conferences, right? Where, if you set up booth and you have a conference and there's a conference and people are like, yeah, you could just say, well, how, you have to do so many messages in order to be able to, have your Airbnb. Well, what if this tool is able to automate most of it and it has, very high accuracy? Would that be worth $50 per month? And I think most people would say yes, certainly. So, so just 200 Airbnb hosts, each paying, $50 a month. That's extremely achievable. So, understanding your ideal customer is not giant property management firms, enterprise operators. Your ideal early customer is, an independent Airbnb host managing 1 to 5 listings. So that means that in your marketing, you go, are you an independent Airbnb host managing 1 to 5 listings and have problems with, having to send all of these messages to people? Well, what if there's a tool that uses AI to automate all of your communication and still make sure to have, a wonderful guest experience for your users? Now introducing AirMate, right? So this is kind of the way that, the messaging goes. So, as it's saying, your core offer, you're not selling AI software, you're selling, time freedom for Airbnb hosts. If you are a independent Airbnb host managing 1 to 5 listings, wouldn't you like to save 10 hours a week and have and get respond instantly to guests or never miss a guest message again? Automate 90% of repetitive communication. So that's kind of the way that you will, communicate it to the when you get to the advertising stage. So the simplest MVP that can make money. Do not build a huge platform for platform first. Your first version only needs to host, connects Airbnb. AI reads property info. AI suggests guest replies. Host approves, send, and that alone can generate revenue. So the host connects to the Airbnb, the AI reads the property info, the AI suggests guest replies, host approves, send. So this is just kind of highlighting what like the version 1 may consist of. Your customer acquisition strategy. This is where most startups fail. Distribution before perfection. So Facebook groups, best early channel. There are, massive Airbnb host communities, and so do not spam, but there's a lot of Facebook groups for Airbnb, TikTok. Yep. That's good for advertisements as well. And then cold outreach, to different Airbnb listings, or once again, Facebook groups or LinkedIn partnerships as well. Let's see here. It looks like somebody's trying to. Oh, yes. Shireen, you have a question? Mm-hmm.
Just a question. It seems like, by the way, can you hear me okay? Are these earbuds? Or is it kind of broken up?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear your question too well.
Okay. Here, I'm just going to switch built-in microphone
Does that work better? Can you hear me now?
Much better.
Okay, good. The question I was going to ask is on the channels and the marketing and like kind of distribution. Seems like because AI is really good at building things, like building a product is kind of the easy part these days, whereas distribution is really the hard part. And like, if, any of us could build this idea in, pretty quickly using the tools, then like, how do we really make this stand out so you actually get the adoption, considering that there's not a lot of like moat in just the building?
Well, I think there's a couple of ways to look at that. The first thing that I see is that this idea that many people are able to create full on like scalable software because of vibe coding. I haven't seen that to be as true as people make it seem. People can make a demo, but even myself, as somebody that has been a software engineer for 10 years, like one of the tools that I vibe coded, I used a lot of AI in the development of it. Frankly, it took me about a year or two in order to make it. And now gradually, of course, it's been getting better and better, but it took me about a year in order to fully make it. So yeah, people can get the instant high of being able to see, make a type of prompt and then start seeing stuff exist. But as far as like making actual valuable, scalable software, I haven't been seeing as much of that. It's actually been rare for me to see. The other thing is one of the things that's very important to me is design. So design is one of the biggest moats that exist. So what it means is that simply people like your version more than other people's version. So making the version that looks the best is very, 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 very important. And then the other one is going to be based off of community. Like you're saying, there are a lot of different communities out there. So for most things, people are going to have competition in some cases, but it's always going to come down into what are the different reasons why people want to work with you as opposed to other people. So that often has to do with your marketing. So yeah, I think that your question is very valid. And honestly, I think about that oftentimes myself for some of the products that I release. It's like, why would I start marketing this when somebody else can just steal it? But the reality is just that there are always a lot of different things about your product that's going to be unique. And so it's all about really just finding your slice. that's pretty much what the game is find your slice and get your slice. Yeah. All right. Anybody else have any questions? All right. So we're gonna go ahead and finish this up. So yeah, so that's phase one. It's just kind of validating 10 beta users, 3 paying users. The goal is going to be, getting 100 to 200 months, MRR. And then from there, by first couple of months, you might be able to get 25 to 50 paying hosts. And then from there, keep on scaling. You're going to be able to, so, what the focus on going to be onboarding, improving the automation accuracy, testimonials, reducing churn. And then from there, growth engine, content marketing, referrals, partnerships, SEO, optimize retention, add upsells, improve onboarding. So this is really, really going into, once again, just the process for getting, like I said, your slice. The real SaaS formula, your success depends on traffic, conversion, and retention. Retention is king. Yeah, if hosts love Airmate, and this kind of goes to what your question was, Shireen, like if people love the product, then that's going to go a long way. They stay, they refer others, they increase the property count, they become case studies. Like, that's big. All right. So is going into KPIs, like what you're measuring, biggest mistakes to avoid. Don't overbuild, building without users, talk to hosts constantly, competing on features. Even also a large strategy for becoming trusted in creating a product is street interviews, podcasts, of course. So if you start a podcast for people that are Airbnb developers, and from there, from there you weave in, hey, if you're somebody that's trying to get into it and you want to use a tool, then use this thing Airmate, and it makes you'd be able to make the whole income process more passive. So that's kind of a strategy as well. So yeah, here it is, giving you a whole breakdown of the business plan, the formula for your success. All right. So it has like, things that would be cool to try out next. And that is essentially everything that this tool does already. So within about 30 minutes, or about an hour, we were able to go from, product vision all the way to getting, all of the details, the screens that you'll need. And the cool thing about this is that you're able to just copy it, and then you could actually even throw it into an AI agent, and the AI agent can begin to build a product for you. And if you are in a community with people that are technical, then they can be able to help you out, take it to the next level to actually get product stage. And then from there, you just run the play. That's kind of the place that we are in this world now, where it's like, if you could run the play, and also if you could get people on board, if you could find people that can run the play with you, it makes it so that all of these things are successful. Because now you have this AI, which is created to be kind of like a genie. You're supposed to use it kind of like a genie to help you with, getting the answer for whatever you do. All you got to do as a person is just to run the play and find the right people to run the play with. All right. So with that being said here, let's see what we got next. All right. So yeah, we just got done with that. And now with your permission, I just wanted to also tell you a bit about what we do with Tech Founder Pro, which is something I showed earlier. So we actually have a number of different trainings here. This is just one workshop that we host, but like we say, we've been doing this for a long time for our technical trainings. As you could see, this right here is just like the ideation. So we have, but this is just one part of it. We go into the different revenue strategies that come about from the different, the different stream paths, and then from there, the way to create AI employees, and the way to create the products. We go into the way to create the product, and then the way to like grow the business as well. So essentially, wanted to highlight that if this workshop has been of value for you, there's a lot more where it came from, and we've been getting wonderful results. We've been able to have people that do actually get full-time jobs in the AI cutting edge field, but then also people that are able to create successful businesses, create successful apps as well. So if joining our community is something that is of interest to you, then please feel free to send me a message on Meetup, or I also leave my LinkedIn link as well. Let's see here. One moment here. There's my LinkedIn as well. If this workshop was valuable for you, or one moment here, I'm going to throw on my glasses. If everybody has a chance, if we could all get on camera and just wave, we like to just get a picture to end the class. One moment here. Hey, Meta, start recording. All right, thank you all for joining us. I hope the class has been of value. And was a workshop of value, you guys? Did you enjoy it?
Definitely.
Excellent. Really good to hear. Glad that you made the time out to join us, and we'll see you in the next workshop. Please reach out to me if you want to expedite your process of creating the successful product, and if you want to join a community of people that are also using AI in order to create an extra income, because right now is such a really critical time, and it's time for everybody to be able to stand up on their own. I do want to mention one last thing, actually. I had been mentioning a little bit about creating products that are going to be of value to be able to help people with earning income easier. And I wanted to introduce that to you as well. This right here is a new it's a new product that was created. It's called Project Vera. This is a new startup, and it's a new paradigm of work. It makes people so that they're able to share all of the different skills that they have. So oftentimes right now, people feel the need to just fit into one box, but we created an all new tool that is able to essentially decentralize the way that people earn an income. It allows you to, I'm going to go ahead and log in really quickly so that you can see the way that it works. So people are able to list any, it starts off by allowing you to list, any of your current goals, your current projects. So, whether that be you want to get into music or starting a podcast or aiming to get into real estate or, building your own app, you're able to just list all of the different projects that you have. And then on top of that, you're also able to list any of the needs that you have, anything that's like, pet sitting or lawn care. And essentially, you automatically get, suggested with services that are around you that would be able to help you by people that live around you. And so you don't have to limit yourself to only one thing. You're able to create your About Me section. And from there, you're able to just easily list all of the different services that you have. And it allows for you to be discovered. You also get a trust score, which is kind of a review that, of course, the higher that your trust is, then the more verified. You no longer have to rely on, creating content online. You don't have to do any dances on TikTok. You don't have to create content. All you got to do is just list the skills that you have. You get to clock in and clock out, and then from there you're able to offer all of your services. You can you'll have a list of your interests, a list of your leads, and you're able to get paid through the platform as well. So this is an all new product. It's already available on both app stores and on the web. So I invite you to check it out. It's free to use, and feel free to get on the platform and send it to your friends. And we're really confident that this is a completely new way that people will be able to earn income and make a living. So we're really excited about this. Oh, thank you, Ashley. Yes, it is mobile app friendly. It's on both app stores, so you're able to download the Android and the iOS version. Yes. All right, y'all. We do appreciate any shout outs on LinkedIn or any shout outs on any of the platforms. You will be able to We really appreciate that, and the reviews on Meetup. And feel free to invite other people to our next workshops, and have a great rest of the weekend. Excellent. I'll go ahead and send the link here. The name of the product is Project Vera. And I'll post the link here as well.
Okay. Okay, I see it.
Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This workshop was absolutely amazing. Like the best workshop I've ever attended.
That means a lot.
That
means a lot, Ashley. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I will be sending out a message shortly. So thank you again.
You're welcome again. You're welcome, y'all.
Well, we're not going to do this. You're the one. Hold on. I'm gonna think about it. What about this bitch?
Recording in progress.
We'll just field all the questions that we don't answer during it after. Anybody who would be interested in joining or helping the board, we're looking for people to help us find speakers and do publicity and other activities. This event will be recorded and available for you to download or listen to on the private YouTube channel in about a week. I'm also welcoming all of our attendees from the San Francisco chapter. We invited them to join us. And I'm going to start the introduction right here. Our
Lynn,
speaker
you're echoing.
is Richard Lehman.
Apparently, they're saying they were getting chat question and answers that you're echoing.
I'm not sure why.
I don't hear it. I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to go on and then I'll do the introduction now. Richard Lyman is an author, instructor at Cal Poly and UC Berkeley. His title is A Financial Professor's Tips on Options, Trends, and Behavioral Finance. The first line of his presentation description sort of mirrors something that a lot of you are aware of. The indisputable